Hello and welcome. I am Ladi Akiridoluale. Tonight, police ask Senator Dino Melaye to give himself up ahead of his arraignment in court on a case of alleged conspiracy and unlawful possession of firearms. Tenure extension debate rattles APC as President Buhari meets with governors. Party sets up committee to review president's position on the matter. Former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Emeka Anyaoku, renews call for Nigeria's restructuring, says nation's unitary structure is hampering its development. And U.S. government lambasts China for imposing $3 billion tariff on American imports.
And on Business News Tonight, Nigeria's manufacturing PMI expands further in March, reflecting improvement in the business environment and a more positive macroeconomic outlook.
On sports news, 4,500 athletes from 71 nations and territories, including Nigeria, compete for 275 gold medals at the Commonwealth Games, which begin tomorrow in Gold Coast, Australia.
And from Abuja, street sweepers storm Edo State Government House, demand payment of 6-month salary arrears.
The Nigerian police force is asking Senator Dino Melaye to give up himself to the police command in Kogi State ahead of his arraignment on a case of conspiracy and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms at the Federal High Court in Lokoja, Kogi State. Force Public Relations Officer Jimoh Moshood says it is in the interest of Senator Melaye to voluntarily report to the police in order to forestall the execution of an arrest warrant issued against him. He was speaking in Abuja while parading Kabiru Saidu and 5 other suspects who escaped from a detention facility in Lokoja. The force spokesperson explains that the suspects, whose confessions indicted Senator Melaye and Muhammadu Audu as sponsors of thuggery in Kogi State, will be arraigned before a federal high court in Lokoja on May the 10th.
When the case came up on the 16th of March 2018, the court issued a criminal summons on Senator Dino Melaye to appear in court on the 28th of March 2018. And it was on this day that these 2 principal suspects that indicted him escaped from lawful custody. And the court have adjourned the matter to the 10th of May 2018. So the Nigerian police force thereby called on Senator Dino Melaye, on whose warrant of arrest had been issued and he had been declared wanted, and equally listed red alert of the Interpol for him to see reason why he should honor the order of court and appear in court on the 10th of May 2018. The Nigerian police force is at liberty to ensure that nobody is above the law, nobody is a sacred cow, except those who have immunity as recognized by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the Senator Dino Melaye, in his own interest, should make himself available in court on the 10th of May 2018.
About 200 firearms and over 250 unexpended cartridges have been surrendered to the police armory in Lagos. The arms were returned owing to the period of grace by the police for those with illegal arms to return search to the authorities. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Imohimi Edgar, while briefing journalists at the command's headquarters in Ikeja, asked residents to use the grace period to relinquish such arms or face prosecution.
This opportunity to call on citizens of Lagos to take advantage of this grace period by the Inspector General of Police, the Ibrahim Idris, MPM, MNI, and return voluntarily prohibited firearms in their possession. Let me also use this opportunity to warn that failure to do so, the police will be moving into the second phase of the mop-up of prohibited firearms. And the second phase will include lawful search of all buildings, residences, homes, structures, vessels, anywhere whatsoever that we have credible information that this category of firearms can be recovered. We'll go in, we'll search, we'll recover, and of course, arrests would follow, definitely with prosecution. But I am hoping it will not come to that. Please take advantage of the grace period to voluntarily relinquish prohibited firearms.
The President, General Muhammadu Buhari, met with the governors of All Progressives Congress at the State House in Abuja today. The meeting, which held in the council chambers of the presidential villa, had all the governors elected on the platform of the APC in attendance. Before the meeting started, the governors were seen in what looked like a heated argument, discussing matters that might not be unconnected with issues surrounding tenure extension for the party's elected officials. At the end of the meeting, the governors left the State House without speaking with State House correspondents on the outcome of the dialogue. Meanwhile, the governors are to meet again at an undisclosed location in Abuja tonight. Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, Chief John Odige Oyegun, has inaugurated a technical committee to examine President Buhari's position on the tenure of the party's executives both at the national and state levels. This follows the resolution reached by the leadership of the party at the end of its National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja on February the 27th. The president had frowned on the extension of the tenure of the party's executives, describing it as illegal and against the dictates of the party and country's constitution. The president also noted that tenure elongation must be reviewed to avoid a legal battle. The committee is expected to submit a report of its findings on Friday, April the 6th. And there is a renewed call for the restructuring of Nigeria, with the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, insisting that only a return to a true federal structure will ensure the full development of the country's potential. Chief Anyaoku, who was speaking at the launch of an autobiography of elder statesman Chief Ayo Adebanjo, said the country, as diverse as Nigeria, cannot succeed under a unitary system of governance.
Political titans, people of letters, the who is who, make up this crowd here for the launch of Chief Ayo Adebanjo's autobiography. It seems inevitable with this group of people that the gathering would turn to a political discourse of sorts. In his opening remarks, Chief Emeka Anyaoku sets it off with reminiscences of yesteryears.
And it's never been any doubt in my mind that our country, Nigeria, was doing extremely well when it had the true federation of 4 regions, with each region developing at its own pace, with its citizens feeling proud to belong to the bigger Nigerian country.
A discussion moderated by Channels Television's Seun Okinbaloye takes panelists into what could be stalling Nigeria's progress.
We have been very, very value neutral in 1, selecting our leadership, 2, in building our political institutions, and 3, in agreeing that we cannot afford to fail.
Your generation has always asked that they do not give us a chance. They do not give us opportunity. So if you can talk to the question of nobody will give you a chance, you have to fight for it. Why are you not fighting? In a country where people were presidents at 30, at 32, suddenly they lift the age to 40. Is that not a systemic oppression? The system constantly begins to increase the barrier of entry, Yet the system tells me it wants to empower me, but the system is killing me by taking away my access.
Okay. It is that we, the older generations, have chosen standards of life, visions of life that repels the youth.
The celebrant, however, has a different take and bears his mind to the youth in the room.
By the time the people who are installed by merit, by principle, got into office,
They want to bypass the principle under which they were established. They want to take over the party. And when they took over the party for their own side, and you don't condemn.
At the end of discussions, former Governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, speaks fondly of Chief Adebanjo's commitment to free and fair elections.
And I myself standing before you, if not because of his honesty, integrity, I will not become the governor of Lagos State. One, he said no to electoral rigging.
At last, the autobiography, Telling It As It Is, by Ayo Adebanjo, is unveiled. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Now let's take a further look at this issue of true federalism yet again. And I'm being joined in the studios by the spokesperson of the Yoruba Socio-Cultural Group, Afenifere, Mr. Yinka Odumake. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
Now, this call for true federalism has continued to come up from time to time. But we are moving closer and closer to the elections now. There are those who say that it should be suspended until after the elections have taken place. Are you one of those who would subscribe to that?
I'm not one of them, because suspending it means that you have postponed it for another 4 years. And 4 years ago, we postponed it. Now, we are back to square one. The fact is that we cannot make any progress in this country today, except to go back to these issues. It's like you have a house built on a faulty foundation, and when the rain starts, the house begins to vibrate and shake. Oh, you now say, oh no, let me do the window. Oh, it's the curtains. Until you go to the foundation, you are not solving your problem. So until we go to that, we are not making it. Look, let me just give you a simple fact. In 1983, Shagari's budget was $25 billion. Then Nigeria was 80 million people. 2018, we're almost 200 million people. Buhari's budget is $23 billion, which means we are not producing anything. This economy is not productive, and we cannot become productive until we go back to agronomy. For as long as we have those 68 items on the exclusive list, that all the mineral resources belong to federal governments, there's no way you can become a productive economy. So
but there are those who would say that at this point that we are now, ahead of 2019, the issue of restructuring is not really at the front burner. It should be the question of leadership. That is that we have what some would describe as challenged leadership. Isn't that true? That is, if we correct the leadership issue, then you can also come to the restructuring issue with the correct leadership or with non-challenged leadership.
Well, it's like you decide to take your community to live in a motor park. And someone now tells you, look, if you want to live organized life, you should move out of this motor park into a new settlement. And I said, no, it's leadership that matters. All we need to do is to get professors to run this motor park. How to always run a motor park? So the structure is important. Yes, leadership is a flip side of the coin. Even with the structure, you cannot have leadership that's not committed, that kind of leadership we have now. But without a proper structure, good leadership will not emerge.
How will it go from being a topic that is discussed at fora such as Chief Adebanjo's autobiography launch and so on, to being a mainstream campaign issue for 2019?
Oh, it's clear now that we have to mainstream the issue. We have to move away from all the banner issues that are being discussed now. Like, I don't want to throw up Luther's list, this list, nobody in jail. That's not the issue for now. We should discuss about the future of this country. This Omonile economy that we are operating cannot take us anywhere. And when a nation begins to live like Omonile, live on rent, when we finish it, now we begin to harass. I mean, it cannot work. We cannot continue this way. And the conversations now should be about the future of this country, not the kind of comic shows that are going on now about this thing. So the issue should be about the future of Nigeria. And we must, how do we become a productive economy? You can't if you are depending on the taxes, if you are depending on can we be shutting our economic cities just because we want to attend birthday, we want to commission motor park? No. These are the issues we're talking about.
Mr. Odumake, we've run out of time. I want to thank you very much for joining us on the news at 10 today. Thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Yinka Odumake, of course, is the spokesperson of the Yoruba Socio-Political Group, Afenifere.